fitness can and will save your life. True story. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm one of those people who believe in the muse, in potentially that ideas have their own life force and they're delivered on to people at the right moment, whether you want to call that the muse, the universe, God, a higher power, divinity, I don't know. But I do believe that when you place yourself in the right place, the right setup, the right headspace, that things just happen. Ideas just flow. That if you keep showing up in the right place at the right time, doing the work for the sake of the work, it will happen. The right idea will pop into your mind. The right opportunity will flow to you. The things will happen. So this morning I was cleaning my gym and I've just gotten back from our holiday. Felt good, had some incredible time with the kids and the wife, the in-laws. We went to the beach, we went to the pool, we went to the zoo. It's just truly amazing and I'm feeling great. And I often find that things just kind of shift. That if you do the work and you put yourself in the right place, that things will just shift into the correct setup. As I said, things will just flow to you. Now, whether that is, I've heard it described as a timeline shift or timeline jumping or just a cognitive perception of the world, or as I said, if it's a higher being, the muse, whatever you want to call it. But especially prior to this holiday and then during the holiday, I found that things were shifting. That the little vices, and they're not bad ones, even down to like sugar-free soft drink or, well, my energy drinks aren't great. I've slipped back into that. I lost the taste for them. Like they were actually, I was like, oh, I don't even want to do this anymore. The little snack things that I was doing that are within my, eating plan, my healthy diet, my healthy eating style guidelines weren't ticking the box anymore. They weren't fulfilling me anymore. And even down to things of like, been a long day getting back yesterday and I was like, I'm going to watch some TV with my wife. We literally couldn't get it to work. We couldn't get the PlayStation to set up and then the TV and none of it. So we didn't do it. We just called it a night on that. But I find that things will just flow into place. As I said, if you just are consistent and showing up and doing the work, that you will find that the universe will just align the things and push you and nudge you and keep pushing you forward to the perfect thing for you, the perfect moment for you. And that's what I've been feeling that I have felt that I needed to level up again, that I needed to, and I've been discussing it, talking about a sacrifice list, that I needed to push myself into another level in not just the fitness, but the other areas as well that matter to me, my finances, my business, these kinds of things. And I feel like the universe or my subconscious programming or whatever you want to call it has been nudging me more and more into this, that those things that used to still hold a little bit of a trigger, I'm just like, no. And now I'm just breaking the habit on that. Now I'm rewiring that subconscious programming to get away from that. That it's not that I am wanting it, not that I'm enjoying it, not that I am craving it. I go to them because that's habitual. And now I need to break that habitual programming. So, neurons that fire together wire together. So the more frequently you do something, the more ingrained it comes in you. The inverse is true. The less frequently you do something, the less it's ingrained. Even if it is a habit, the less frequently that you participate in an old habit, the less well those wires fire together. And so you can replace them over time. My mid-tier program, that one after you complete Chasing Greatness, is called 126 to Greatness. The reason for it being 126 to Greatness is because it takes 126 days to take a negative old habit and replace it with a new habit. That's how long it takes the wiring to kick in. Because I've had quite a few people be like, 126 days is too long. I was like, it is. It's a long time. It's a bit over 4 months. But that's what is required to replace that wiring in your head with the new one. So for 126 days, you can't fucking miss. You are erasing negative habits. You are erasing old wiring and replacing it with new wiring in your brain. And this is part of that process. But as I said, I think when you show up for a long enough time doing those habits, doing that work, that the universe will start to truly be like, this guy doesn't miss. This guy just keeps showing up. He is serious about doing this work. He is deadly serious about being this man. Let's help him along. He's shown that he's in. This isn't a fleeting interest. This isn't a flash in the pan, oh, I've just had enough of doing that. Let's try this instead. No, it's a legitimate, he wants to change. And so the universe is going to guide you. As you can tell, I believe a lot of that kind of stuff. And I've read a lot of those things where they talk about the universe, and again, whatever version you want to call it, the universe, your subconscious programming, God, whatever it is, only has yes. It says yes to everything. The problem is that we are so used to not framing it and positioning ourselves and putting ourselves into the situation to receive the yes, and often not in the format that we think. You know, it's things like, you know, I don't want to be fat anymore. Cool. But what you're saying is that you hate where you're currently at. So you need to shift that into, I want to be fit and healthy. And the problem is that you want to be like that. You want this instantaneous fix of, I don't want to be fat anymore. Instead of going, I want to be a fit, strong, healthy person. So the universe says yes to that and nudges it towards you. And now it's like, okay, well, show me. Show the work. Yes, you can be that person, but now let's do the work. Now let's show up every day and do the work. And that's part of this zero choice mentality that I have, that I show up every day. And we've spoken before, it's the Stephen King principle and all that kind of stuff, that, you know, to flip it on its head, am I a fit, healthy person because I showed up every day, or did I show up every day because I'm a fit, healthy person? I shifted my mindset many, many years ago, long before I reached this point, and became this version of myself. I became the best version of myself by telling myself that I was a fit, healthy person. And then I did the work that matched it. You know, now I don't think about it. I don't have to think about working out. I don't have to think about eating right. I don't have to think about doing a weighted walk. I don't have to think about my water intake. I don't have to think about taking my daily photos. These things are just who I am. And I didn't start that way. You know, if you look back at the starting photos of the 180 odd days ago, that wasn't me. And I've been in fitness since I was 17 years old. I'm turning 33 at the end of the year. It's not innately built into me. It's a choice, and a choice that sometimes slips, but it's a choice nonetheless. And now I have so heavily ingrained this into who I am, and it continues to just show up, that those habits are built in, that while we were away, I didn't miss a day. It meant I often had to wait till my kids went to sleep, and I'd help my wife organise the cabin for the time, and then I'd go for my weighted walk. There were a couple of times where that was boring as sin, as I did fucking laps around the caravan park we stayed in. I know in detail every area of that caravan park. and you can cover about 4Ks at a half decent trot around that caravan park in 45 minutes. But the work got done. I didn't need to think about it. I just knew that at the end of the day, that is what I was doing. End of story, that's what I was doing. You know? And this is the part when you build those habits, when you focus on ingraining those things into your DNA, that it becomes who you are. But so often we think that people who are fit, who are healthy, who are successful, who are rich, who are wealthy, who are happy, who are fill in the blank, were naturally built that way. No. They built the things that allowed them to get there. They built the habits and they made a conscious decision. And then for days, weeks, months, years, they kept making that decision. You know, I'm a fit, healthy person because of my habits, but I became a fit, healthy person because I made this decision that I was going to be a fit, healthy person for my children, for my wife, for those that I served, that I had to show up as the best version of myself, that I aspire to, live to 120. I want to see my great grandkids or whatever level I can reach. So my actions and my desires didn't align. Therefore, something had to change. So it did. That I made that choice to be the better version of myself, to be the best version of myself, to do the things that was required on that. And this is the part where you have to make the choice. You have to make the choice for your good, for your highest level. What matters most to you? What is going to make the difference? And then you put yourself in that position to allow the universe to work through you, and allow the universe to divinely intervene into you. And sometimes things happen differently because you do the work, and it takes you on a path that you wouldn't expect. And it's that Jimmy Carr quote that, everybody wants good character and a great life, but nobody wants to go through the hard things that create those things. People who often have happiness and success and fortitude and grit and the things that you aspire to have don't have them because their life was easy. They have them because their life wasn't, and they did the work and they went through the trials and tribulations. They overcame the obstacles. They faced the challenges head on, and then they reached this point. They reached the level where they were successful, where they were happy. And that's part of it. But you have to keep showing up in the right place, in the right time, doing the right things, and then let the universe flow through you. And as I said, sometimes it'll surprise you in the directions it takes you. It'll redirect you into things that you weren't aware were what you were looking for. When I sat down to record this podcast today, this is not at all where I thought this one was going to go. This is not the subject I had in my head. I don't truly plan these out. I just show up with a topic in mind and then I let it flow from there. And for whatever reason, this is the one that felt needed to come out today. This is where it ended up. This is where that flow happened. And more I've learned to intuitively follow my gut on this. But how does that then apply to you? That you need to do the work, that you intuitively, instinctively know this, and yet you're like, oh, but I have cravings, oh, I feel the desire to do this. What's actually happened is that you've given into your lizard brain. What's actually happened is that you've reverted back to your primal instincts, for lack of a better term. And when your primal instincts, they just want simple. They want easy. They want now. They want to survive. And then past survival, they want enjoyment and they want pleasure. But that doesn't actually set you up for true satisfaction. That doesn't actually set you up to a great and enjoyable life, because it was based on a world that didn't have the access and instant gratification that we have now. You didn't have junk food, you didn't have sugar, you didn't have an endless supply of food, you didn't have instant access to more food than you could ever need. You didn't have access to calorie-dense food that doesn't actually nutritionally benefit you. You didn't have access to any of these things. You didn't have access to porn. You didn't have access to social media. You didn't have access to TV. You didn't have access to all these things that we now have access to. So our brains, like on a monkey, is like a monkey pulling a lever. And it's like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Look at all these things. Look at this joy. Look at this pleasure. Look at this ease of purpose. Look at it all. So yeah, it's going to take advantage of it. Like you're a little addict, a little monkey addict pulling that lever and constantly choosing that way. But it's not the best way. It's not the healthy way. It's in this moment that you have to make the better choices. You have to choose what is actually going to be best for you. You have to choose the work. You have to show up and do the work daily for your highest good. Show up every day, not for the reward, though it will come if you consistently show up. But show up to do the work so that you are doing the work for the sake of the work, for the satisfaction that comes with doing the work. And eventually, sometimes sooner rather than later, if you can listen, if you can be intuitive, if you can be open to the situation, the universe will present you the things that you need. And in health and fitness, it might be this video. Who knows? It might be that nudge to actually do the work. It might be that nudge away from those vices that have been pulling you down. It might be the nudge to the right person to do the thing. It might be a nudge that, hey, this is actually really fucking fun. It's hard and it requires a shit ton of effort, but it's fun and it's enjoyable. Or it might be something completely out of the blue. But you have to start with the work. You have to make the decision that you are going to be a fit, healthy person. And start there. And start doing the work that a fit, healthy person will do. And then let the universe guide you along from there. So, that's all I have for you. It's a very different one to what I was expecting. It's a different one to what I normally do. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took value from it. And if you did, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you're ready to dip the toe in the water, if that was enough of a push, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if you are ready to go all in on yourself, if you are ready to take that step forward to become the fit and healthy version of yourself, if this is that sign from the universe, then shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness, into my first 30-day challenge, and let's see who you can become. Until then.